We are live. Hello and welcome to the most extreme wrestling podcast in professional wrestling to date. This is Extreme Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Arnold. Joined as always is James. And we might have someone come in later and we might introduce him later, but for now he might be running late. You'll see who it is when he comes in. Anyway, we start the news off with some sad news. James Harris, professional wrestler James Harris, passed away at the age of 70 due to complications with diabetes and the C virus. I'm calling it. We don't want to put it on here and stuff. We're calling it C virus. Now, if you don't know what he has gone by, perhaps the name Kamala the Ugandan Giant might ring a bell. That's the name he went under in WWE and I think in some other companies as well. WCW, notable. He has fought greats like Bam Bam Bigelow, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, even more modern ones like Randy Orton and Umaga, the late great Umaga. He passed away at the age of 70. We send our condolences to James Harris's friends, family, and colleagues that he's worked with throughout the years, and may he rest in peace. Anyway, on to at least some better news. ROH is set. Ring of Honor is set to return to TV tapings. Obviously, from what I had heard, they are returning, doing some TV tapings this month as we speak. So, yeah. James, what do you think of ROH returning?
Um, the only thing is that what I've heard is that Marty Scrolls is not the head booker for now because of the situation with
the C
COVID.
virus. Yeah, the C virus.
Okay. So that's one of the main things. But it's honestly good to hear that Ring of Honor is coming back because a lot of. I'm sorry about this.
That is all right.
Yeah, because I'm getting off of work, so I apologize for anybody hearing. Please insert your parking ticket and stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but Ring of Honor is honestly it's a good I've been to a Ring of Honor event, and I like how it is. It's different, and it's historic. So it's honestly it's needed for them to come back, and I just think if they would have stayed shut down for a longer, they might have been in serious trouble.
Yeah.
The Sinclair company might not even help them out in that long term.
Yeah. Obviously, I've known about ROH since CM Punk name dropped them in his pipe bomb, and going back and seeing some of the stuff, and obviously following it since the Elite / Bullet Club were kind of getting big, and was following that and knew that guys who are WWE superstars like Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, the guy who used to be Dean Ambrose.
John Morrison.
I'm sure he was there.
I don't think he was. I think he was more on CZ. He was CZW.
Yeah, he was. But seeing obviously when it came to the Bullet Club and the Elite, obviously the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody, Adam Cole, basically all the members of Undisputed Era were there. Tommaso Ciampa I'm sure was there. Obviously, Mike and Maria Kanellis were there and stuff like that. So I am kind of happy. And even seeing some of the current crop they have like PCO, Brody King. Obviously, you mentioned Marty Scurll. Even Jay Lethal. I knew about Jay Lethal when he was in TNA for a little bit. Because he was like Black Machismo and having that woo battle with Ric Flair back in the early 2010s and stuff. So I knew about him. but I've known about ROH, and I am a fan. I am not a diehard fan, but I am a fan of what they do. So I am kind of happy that they are back, and it's really really awesome that they are
For
coming back to doing TV tapings, and I'm so excited.
for me, I've been ROH. I heard about ROH since TNA because actually, if you remember, TNA and ROH actually were partners at one point in time before controversy came up with one of the owners and some stuff that I will not mention. But yeah, that's where AJ Styles, Joe, and all
Oh yeah, I forgot
Christopher
AJ Styles.
Chris,
AJ Styles was there too. Yeah, I forgot
Christopher
about him.
Dan Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, and all that stuff. All of them,
Yeah,
a lot of the people that's now in like different promotion of WWE and
AEW,
and AEW and even New Japan.
obviously. Oh
hmm
yeah,
And, P,
obviously. Oh,
and all I gotta say is my last word is PCO at that age still wrestling and being and making himself known actually impresses
it's
me.
well, yeah, he's got to be in Taker's age range, isn't
Yeah,
he? Or is he? But
no, he's
that's impressive for him to have won a world title at his age.
mhm.
I was a huge fan of him when even especially when he won the world title. Was so yes, oh
and,
yeah.
and and it's like if you look at it, it's like with him in WWE, I think he was, if I remember, one of the Quebecers. Back in the new generation era, or
Yeah.
yeah, the golden era. Like, eh.
Yeah, when they
go
were
from go from
when they were pushing guys like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart,
mhm,
Undertaker, Diesel, Wolfpack
mhm,
and all that stuff,
mhm,
Click and all that. Yeah, they weren't wanting to push guys like him back then.
mhm. Yeah.
And
So
anyway, we get into AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. Um, we saw the team of Big and Lil Swole winning, and I forgot the other team was like some Alicia, something like that. But they were these two teams, or these two people were, they were rivals, and they won. So the unknown team that I can't remember are going to take on the team of Anna Jay and Tainara Conti, and then Big and Lil Swole are taking on the
oh
Nightmare
no, I
Sisters.
know it's that she was in LAX. It starts with a D.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't remember the name, but
yeah. I had to double check that because I remember they beat what's that backstage interviewer, and then Ellering made her debut on AEW.
oh yeah, I think that wasn't it the Ellering girl?
No,
I know
she's
I
backstage.
think one of the Ellering girls was one of the
Dasha or something like that.
I
She
think one of them. I think one of them is she's related to Paul. Isn't she Paul's daughter
yeah
or something?
yeah
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Ellering.
Paul Ellering's daughter
Yeah, she got
happens to
released
be one
from
of the.
yeah she was released from NXT because of injury, but then now she's fully recovered and now in AEW, which is
Yeah.
good.
Which we also got some bonus news when it comes down to it. I feel like there were other three people who did get released recently. Two notable ones are Jimmy Havoc and Bea Priestley. So obviously, what do you think of the tournament and the releases? I guess you could package those up, those two.
Tournament, I'm not much of a fan of because these are honestly, besides Ali and that LAX chick that's in there, and I forgot who, and then I forgot those. I forgot it already, but I'm not interested in that. And I'll be honest, I'm not interested in the AEW women's division right now.
Yeah, it's now outside of some of those big
Now,
names like
now I'm sorry, but because I talked to somebody who's big AEW fan, and it's like when I asked him to rank NXT, Impact, and AEW. NXT is number one because how deep it is. Impact is second with the knockouts. There's some knockouts that's But AEW is like you have too many people. You're not.
Even if you combine NXT and WWE women's division, it would still not change the fact that WWE's women's division, including NXT, is far superior to every other
And
women's
then
division.
you have so many different storylines you can really do, too. But mostly in that NXT division. But
Oh yeah,
going to the releases, Jimmy Havoc. I think it's needed just because of. I think he's also one of the people that's being called out on um, the the whole movement that's going on, speaking up movement. Uh,
yeah. But Bay Priestley was kind of, I don't know if there was anything surrounding her.
Beatrice, she's there's no controversy. I just think there was nothing she could do, and also she's been known to work in Japan anyways. So in Stardom. So I would rather
Yeah,
have her. I would rather have her concentrate more with Japan if need be, or if she's stuck somewhere and she can't get into US. That's why she's been released.
yeah. But this could open and there was another Wolf woman in there. But this could, with Bea Priestley, this could open the door for her to go to potentially WWE and NXT
I still
because
no.
obviously she's friends with Tony Storm.
Well, yes,
Obviously,
but here's the thing though. Tony Stark's stuck in the UK, so really, a WWE can't do
and
anything with
yeah,
Tony
and
Storm.
NXT UK to be more exact.
But again, it's that she's stuck in. She can't do anything right now. Tony Storm, unless she can somehow get to Japan from Europe, basically. But with again, Bria, I think she's more suitable to worry about the stuff she was doing in Japan and Stardom than
Yeah,
going into
obviously.
WWE.
Yeah. But and as far as the tournament, it's no secret that I'm pretty sure they're giving that tournament win to the Nightmare Sisters at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be surprised if they have Big and Little Swole win. But then I start thinking of that. I'm like, oh god, why are they pushing those? Ugh. There's just another contemporary, like another team that's on Impact. But I just think the Nightmare Sisters. This is their tournament to win. Like,
Okay. Oh, okay. So basically, it was
Big
it's
and Little. Yeah,
Swole, the Nightmare Sisters, Anna Jay and Ty Conti, and Demetrius and Evilise.
Evilise.
Iveliisse. Sorry. Yes, those. I think. Evil. Demente. She was the LAX chick, but she's
Oh yeah, it was
recently signed.
Diamante. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was
Diamantes.
thinking
Yeah.
Ava. Yeah, I was thinking Evilise or something like that. Something with the Lees at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
And
you said
basically, yeah,
Diamante when
yeah.
he's
So
in.
basically, yeah, their Evilise beat Dash. It's Dash. I forgot. Okay, yeah, the backstage interviewer. She does wrestle a little bit, but she's more of a backstage interviewer at WWE. And then Rachel Ellen, who debuted, and then Big and Little Swole beat the Librarian and some person named Rachel Chan.
Yeah, that person. Yeah.
Mm,
Hey, we get to move on to Raw. Raw opens up with contract signing between Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio, which recently was turned into a street fight. Obviously, Seth Rollins signed the contract, but Dominic had to sign two contracts. One was for the match itself, the other was an official WWE contract, and he signed that as well, and he's an official WWE superstar. And
mhm.
basically, back and forth and stuff like that. And then Seth Rollins would later have a match with Humberto Carrillo. And I think that match got called off because Dominic came in or something, or maybe it was a DQ and Dominic just came and beat the living crap out of them. And then the tables were turned on him. And obviously, he had kendo sticks and stuff. But then the tables were turned on him as, Seth and Buddy Murphy, or Murphy in this case, started whipping him with the canes. And there was a picture of him, having whelps and everything. And was, holy fuck, wow.
No,
He,
Seth
he,
Rollins. Seth Rollins won with the stomp, and then after the match, Dominic did.
yeah, Dominic just laid down and stuff like that. Um, I'll say, holy freaking shit, that was just wow. All those whelps and the beating you got from all those kendo sticks, like holy shit.
Hey, if y'all think WWE and wrestling is fake,
Oh, kendo sticks. Oh, yeah,
if you
those whelps were real. Holy
if you
shit.
if y'all think wrestling is fake now, look at that picture and
Yeah, you tell us that is fake. Kendo sticks, from what I've seen, those can hurt.
remember, candlesticks are made from bamboo, and bamboo is a strong material. So,
Yeah, yeah. Your thoughts on this?
well, again, that the candlesticks and the welt led to what they changed it to just recently to the street fight. So, I'm not surprised they made it into a street fight, but this is what maybe that way to just in case Dominic is because let's say this one-on-one fight with Seth Rollins and Dominic. Seth Rollins definitely gonna beat Dominic easily because we don't know how trained Dominic is in the ring.
Yeah, true. So basically, making it into a street fight might have been the best call they could have made for this match.
So just in case Mysterio is green or Dominic Mysterio, not
Yeah,
Rey
like
Mysterio.
like putting in Taker's words, he's greener than he's greener than shit, basically. So I think
Hmm.
turning it into a street fight can kind of hide that fact that he could be greener than shit.
Hmm.
Anyway, next week up, obviously in between some things, I think Street Profits, I think it was Dawkins fought, I believe, Andrade and win. And then
I thought
obviously
I
hmm?
thought we going to just the key parts, not the whole thing.
No, I'm briefly mentioning it. Obviously with Dawkins beating Andrade and Bianca Belair beating Zelina. And then we had some Raw Underground stuff where Riddy Mo improved to 10-0 in WWE. Dabba-Kato, also known as Babatunde, and Shayna Baszler won. We had some stuff that happened in between the Raw Underground. One of the matches was Asuka defeating Bayley to earn a shot at the Raw Women's Championship against Sasha Banks, and which she won via that Asuka lock she had and made Bayley tap out and stuff. So, James, your thoughts on the match?
Well, my thoughts on the match is going to be more. Well, it was predictable that it was going to be Oscar beating Bailey, just because of the fact that how the whole screwiness of that that
Extreme
women
Rules match,
Extreme Rules match plus the match
and then
at
and
the
then the
Raw.
match and then the match on Raw, which drew
Hmm.
really low ratings, and me changing the channel and stuff. But yeah, I
Hmm.
think it's all to be like, we can't do this stuff. We got to start, clicking on all cylinders at this point.
Hmm. But
But
yeah, but I'll explain a little bit more when we get to the SmackDown side.
we might say that. We might briefly mention that.
Oh, I'm gonna mention it for sure. I'm gonna talk about
Yeah.
it for sure.
And obviously, but we didn't want to. Obviously, the last thing that happened was Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. And obviously, Randy Orton got the win via RKO. And then obviously, he had like a conversation. There was a promo between him and Flair, in which, in one point in that promo, I marked the fuck out when he mentioned my hometown of Peoria, Illinois. I marked like a motherfucker out for that. Like, oh my god. But long story short, he low blowed Ric Flair who I should mention wanted Randy Orton to break his record, which we all know at this point that probably won't happen. But Randy Orton low blowed Ric Flair and then putting him in the head while all the technical difficulties were going on that were caused by Retribution, who earlier in the night, threw, I think, a cinder block or some kind of concrete thing
Yeah,
into
center
like a
block.
steel,
Mm-hmm.
cinder block into like a glass door and then flipping a car over and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then obviously Randy Orton obviously punted Ric Flair, and then some referees come out, and Drew McIntyre also came out, and he confronted Randy. He was staring him down, and Randy was just like grunting and like showing teeth, like being angry and stuff. And was a really cool, intense stare down between the two to close out Monday Night Raw. Your thoughts on the
Well,
match and the promo?
you obviously know that they turn off the light to basically make it seem that even with the sound, it's like make it seem that Randy Orton punt Ric Flair, but you obviously know that he didn't actually punt Ric Flair. So, but again, that's why we like the thing with the whole thing with like the lights being quote unquote turned off because of retribution. Um, I didn't really care for the match, but I kind of figured that they wasn't going to last the Orton Flair even that long. Even though I felt that Flair should have stayed a little bit longer for just for the fact for Flair to help Orton. Then Orton can turn on Flair after that,
Yeah,
but I think they just go for just for safety reasons for Flair.
yeah. Um, like you said, it is what it is. It just gets more heel heat on Randy, and it's
It's more it helps the Legend Killer concept. I just felt that it could have stayed a little long until after SummerSlam where Randy can turn then. But I understand the reasoning though.
yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
we did forget to mention a news topic. I forgot.
you were go on ahead before we move on to Impact. What do you have to have that is newsworthy?
So I sent this out on Twitter and Facebook. So there's been
Oh,
reports
yeah, that.
that um, WrestleZone, WrestleVote, sorry, he's known to be notoriously good with his rumors. So there's been rumors that WWE is actually moving their tapings starting Friday, this upcoming Friday, from the Performance Center to the Amway, yeah, Amway Center, which is
Yeah.
basically the home of the Orlando Magic. What's your thoughts on it?
Um. Yeah, you just kind of spoiled something we were going to probably talk about in our predictions, but yeah, I'm kind of happy things are going to get back to normal and stuff. So
Well,
I,
let's say this: by the time we make our prediction, they would have announced it by then. They would usually
yeah,
they would announce it on Raw. So, but again, it's like there's been reports like because they already taped Raw, so you won't see Raw at the Amway Center. You just see Raw at the Performance Center. But after that, you will see a lot of the Raw and SmackDown stuff
yeah,
at the Amway Center. So,
yeah,
which is a better place because you can do a lot more in a bigger arena than you would with a small performance center that wasn't even built to handle all what they've been doing.
yeah. Anyway, we move on to Impact, and the one good thing out of a shitty segment they made called Wrestle House,
Oh
which
my God!
is,
Not
but then
Big
there's
Bird.
the one good thing about it, and I've mentioned this. Rosemary and Crazy Steve hinting at a reunion. Crazy Steve came over and he got close to Rosemary. Rosemary said, we could start it up again, but he mentioned about there was a kind of a heat between her and Taya Valkyrie, which was watching some of her stupid matches. One of them happened to be against Rosemary. of all things. What do you think of this little hint in what is essentially possibly the worst thing Impact has done in quite some time? Easily the worst thing they've done.
Why do you think Big Brother Meet Wrestling would work?
Yeah. But
They're
obviously, what do
not.
you
It's
think of
not.
this?
It's not. It's not Legends House. Legends House was better because you had all legends.
Yeah, the only one you worth giving this shit over is Rosemary. You put her in this crap. Other than the
Mm.
fact that her and Crazy Steve hinting at a reunion, a Decay reunion, although we can't do it with Abyss because we'll get to that him later.
Hmm.
But obviously, what do you think of the hint that they make of them reuniting?
It would work because I don't know what the hell they're doing with Rosemary. They're doing this whole thing. It's like she's converted to what Ty Valkyrie's doing. Especially now you have freaking Johnny Bravo being the freaking lapdog. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm like, what is just that whole thing? The whole Wrestle House thing is just. Ugh. But Rosemary's, that was the only good thing I found within that. That was quality. Anyway, we moving on when it comes to Impact. We have obviously EC3 issues a warning to Moose about what he's synonymous with, and pretty much what he's synonymous with. We all know it's that TNA World Championship, and this was shortly after he gave an invitation for Trey, who was masked like Suicide, and an invitation to challenge him for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And this is going to be at, I think, at Emergence, I believe,
Yes.
which night one. But obviously, EC3 issues a warning to Moose and everything that he's synonymous with. Like I said, with the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and saying that he must destroy him and all that stuff. And he's obviously, you have been warned and all that stuff. And Moose was searching around into everything. What do you think of these? What do you think of this program between these two?
Uh, Whole thing. Well, again, it helps EC3 a whole lot because WWE really shitted on EC3.
Yeah,
So he's just going back to doing what he was doing, is basically going after the world title, which makes a whole lot better sense.
yeah, easily. I'm liking what he's been doing ever since he got released. All the promos I've been following him on Instagram and all that stuff, and he can cut a really pretty damn good promo
Hmm.
easily.
Hmm.
I'm just liking his work right now, and he's probably gonna be a big deal. Like WWE obviously dropped the ball on him, and he could potentially come out and become a Drew McIntyre. He might come back and he might be a big deal again. You know,
But WWE is not gonna do that with him, so it's like,
yeah, obviously.
because that's basically his second time. They're not gonna give him a third chance. I'm surprised they gave him a second chance.
Yeah. Anyway, we come to the final thing, and this kind of book ends the show. We start with the one thing that was EY, Eric Young taking on Willie Mack, which kind of started with them brawling in the back and taking it all the way to the ring where Eric Young would eventually win, and then later on in the night, Eddie Edwards wanted to issue a challenge to Eric Young for a match for the Impact World Championship. But out came, and I kind of marked, because this is one of the returns that was like, holy crap, this was awesome. Well, it wasn't a debut in this case, but he defended the title against the debuting Brian Myers, formerly known as Kurt Hawkins. And the match was great. Eddie Edwards retained as always. But what do you think of this, James? What do you think of Brian Myers debuting? What do you think of the match?
Oh no, okay.
Sorry. Let me give him my thoughts on this. The EY Willie Mack match was really good. served a purpose when it came to the show and stuff like that. Eddie was trying to call him out. I like to call him out. He's a good promo. And then the match between him and Brian Myers, formerly known as Kurt Hawkins, was really good. I actually enjoyed it. Enjoyed the match. I was really pumped to see Brian Myers there, aka formerly known as Kurt Hawkins again. Yeah. James, what do you think? All right, that's right. Apologies, but he is obviously doing some things. Apologies again. If I can come up with other things about the matches, they serve the purpose, and yeah. You're watching this. I apologize. Watching this as a video. I apologize for him. Anyway, I guess I can move on real quickly so we can. Y'all have two things to talk about. Obviously, let's talk about the beginning of NXT, which is Karrion Kross taking on Danny Burch. And obviously, Karrion Kross got the win. Obviously, after that, Keith Lee came out holding a contract in his hands. And basically, he had signed it. William Regal had signed it. And obviously, Karrion Kross with Scarlett walking the contract over to him. Oh, welcome back.
Yeah. No, keep going.
Okay, obviously, handing the contract over to Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross signs it. Obviously, Scarlett closes it, kisses on it, slides it back to Keith Lee. Keith Lee opens it up to look and see it, and then a fireball got it into his eyes and blinded him, and he was taken to the hospital and all that stuff. And yeah, I think it was clear later on. But James, what do you think of obviously the matches in Impact and this match between Kross and Burch and the Keith Lee stuff?
Okay, so going to the Impact stuff, Eric Young, he's going on that crazy mission, I guess, of injuring people, which, hey, he again, another person WWE shitted on. So
yeah,
it's good that he's doing what he loves to do instead of freaking jobbing on freaking main event and whatever he's been doing.
Yeah.
Brian Myers never got an opportunity at the world title, so I kind of figured, even though we know the whole thing with Impact Wrestling loving to give opportunity to people who were shitted on in WWE, just like McIntyre and all that stuff. But it was a great match. But Eddie Edwards versus Eric Young is something I want to see. Now going with the whole Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, it's just something that I never would expect WWE to go back into something like a whole fireball incident with Scarlett and all this, and Karrion Kross on Keith Lee. So put emphasis on making the match personal, which I enjoy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. This is getting to the point of it being very personal at this point. He took out Dominik Dijakovic.
Keith Lee's friend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and basically making this personal and attacking everybody else backstage. And among those was Drake Maverick, and I believe Oney Lorcan was one of them too. Probably he was back there, but yeah,
Junior Cross wants to beat up everybody.
yeah, this has gotten really personal between those two, easily.
I think somebody Impact could have done a lot more with, but didn't.
Yeah, easily.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, directly after that, we had a match. Well, it was kind of a short-lived match between Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. This ultimately led to the Undisputed Era coming out, attacking him out, and basically Adam Cole called Pat McAfee to come to Full Sail to NXT, which was confirmed to be next week, face-to-face confrontation and stuff like that. To which, yeah, obviously it is confirmed at this point. But thoughts on this, James?
Well, Undisputed Era wants to be Undisputed Era again. But the whole thing with McAfee is kind of still weird to me. But I kind of figured, okay, what the hell they doing? But hey, fine, what they do, they can't do what they do.
Yeah. Obviously, I was wondering why did they book Drake Maverick to face Killian Dane of all people? I'm like, why?
I'm curious why they took Drake Maverick out of the cruiserweight title picture because I know Drake Maverick lost to um, Escobar, but come on, still give him an opportunity to lose one time, or even have that storybook ending, winning the damn cruiserweight title. Don't just put the damn title in limbo like that.
Yeah. And then speaking of one of the cruiserweights in here, we come to what is essentially one of the basically the final triple threat match, because next week we will have two second chance two one-on-one matches where the two will go on to get into the North American Championship ladder match. The match itself featured Kushida, Cameron Grimes, and the returning Velveteen Dream.
Oh man,
And
everybody's furious about that.
I'm again kind of like the Brian Myers thing. I'm marked kind of like, oh my god, Dream is back. And then obviously Cameron Grimes won the match. I think hit him. I don't know who he hit, but he hit him with like a stomp on the chest, and then he rolled Dream out of the ring and then pinned Kushida.
I forgot what's his finisher called, but that's what his finisher is.
Okay, whatever it is, but obviously he pushed Dream out of the ring and pinned Kushida to become one of the final ones to get in, and that also leaves next week. Obviously, we'll have Johnny Gargano versus Rich Holland, and Finn Balor versus Velveteen Dream. Those two will go on to be added into the NXT North American Championship ladder match. Your thoughts on this match?
Well, I kind of figured I was between Kushida and Cameron Grimes was gonna win it. I didn't want Grimes. I wanted Kushida, but I guess they wanted to push Grimes for whatever he can. Um, but Dream and oh yeah, we forgot to mention that Dream did beat up Kushida to turn
Obviously, yeah.
so it's gonna be Finn Balor versus Dream, which was a match that was supposed to happen a month ago or 2 months ago, but never happened. But now we finally get it because we don't have to worry about the damn. I guess we don't have to worry about whatever speaking out movement that Dream has been dealing with. But people are still furious about that.
Yeah, obviously. I'm happy that Dream's back. I kind of do like his in-ring work and how he carries himself and stuff, the character he has, it's really, really good. Outside of obviously the personal stuff, I like his character. I'm glad he is back. I'm kind of questioning why he attacked Kushida, but I'm still kind of happy he's back and getting the match that was teased months ago between Finn Balor and Velveteen Dream. I'm kind of happy we get the match, and I'm really happy about it. Moving on. Would you want me to do these, or do you want to do these?
No, you can do it.
Okay, first time I'm ever doing about AEW stuff. Anyway.
Oh yeah. By the way, I did forget to mention to you that this was a tag team appreciation day.
Oh yes, that's why. And these are gonna go into effect right here. Obviously, Young Bucks. I believe I don't know how early it was in the night, but obviously they beat Dark Order members. And they were also here later on.
It was
obviously,
the beginning. It was the beginning.
Yeah, it was the beginning, and then somewhere in between that, obviously Cody, with the newly unveiled TNT Championship, the completed one, defeating Scorpio Sky, and then obviously Brody Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper, challenged Cody to a match for the TNT Championship, and probably this is going to be taking place.
But we forgot to mention the debut during that TNT title match.
What debut?
Mike Chioda.
Oh yeah, Mike Chioda was the referee in that match. Yes. Anyway, yes, but obviously Brody Lee challenges Cody to a match for the TNT Championship, and then later on, as I mentioned with the Young Bucks, the tag team appreciation, and there was it had the Rock and Roll Express who were side by side with the Young Bucks, and then Arn Anderson and Four Horsemen, one half of the legendary Four Horsemen, alongside FTR. And obviously, Tully took the mic and all that stuff, and he just ranted off on not just Rock and Roll Express, FTR, and Young Bucks, but also to Arn. And, you saw Shawn Spears come out, and you get very confrontational and all that stuff. Young Bucks were very, very confrontational with Tully Blanchard. And while this happened, FTR attacked the Rock and Roll Express with what looked like leg thing on there, and then hitting, I think one of them, well, this is the blonde. What's the blonde one's name? Morton?
Morton.
Yeah. They hit Morton with a spike pile driver, and then they rolled out of the ring, and then I think one of the Young Bucks saw, and they ran back into the ring, and they were like, what were you doing? And all that stuff. Even Hangman Page was like, what were you doing, man? It was just, what? But your thoughts on all of these stuff?
Okay. Young Bucks winning against the Dark Order, nothing new, because the fact that Dark Order and Young Bucks, had their issues. So, again, it's nothing different. I didn't see a problem with that. Cody, that's a beautiful title. When it's finished,
Oh yeah,
that's a beautiful looking title. I don't care.
yeah.
I didn't like the old. I don't like the fact that they had to give Brody Lee the old one, but and it's so good to see Mike Chioda back refereeing again.
Dogs.
And the whole thing, I kind of figured that FTR had to turn heel for a reason, and I kind of had to see why they did that, what they did. I don't like it, but they better as a heel than a face. So. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, you knew at some point they would have to turn heel. So this wasn't really. Yeah, they're better as a heel and stuff like that. Next thing we got on here is Jon Moxley attacks MJF when he was doing one of his stupid speeches. You know, just came out his music, but he came through. He came through the entranceway in this one, and he just beat him up, and then hit him with a paradigm shift and then left. I think left, and obviously, yeah. James, your thoughts?
Okay, hold on. Let me put earphones on real quick. You on with that segment? Because I'm moving this for like a little bit. Okay, so MJF is doing what EC3 did in 2015 with the whole thing in Impact. And I know it's election year, but come on, please don't do this. I understand, Moxley attacking, but what never hasn't been mentioned, and I don't know if you knew this, is that apparently there's a petition online on Change.org by MJF's attorneys begging AEW to ban John Moxley's move,
And
saying
people
it's
are buying this shit.
yes, because I think we got to the goal of 10,000 people signing the damn thing, because it's AEW. So let's see how that works, and if they're going to actually do that for the
Yeah,
match at All
yeah.
Out.
Basically, this people they would vote for a petition to just hand the championship to MJF on a silver fucking plate. At which point, I might end up going there and beating the living shit out of him and make him freaking turn blue. Just saying.
So harsh against MJF.
Yeah, I'm freaking harsh against him because he's a literal piece of POS.
Okay. Just to let you know, this is the opinion of Ryan, not me, and Extreme Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, obviously. Don't take my opinion serious. Anyway, we get into what is basically the final thing on AEW, which is apparently a $7,000 something match between Orange Cassidy and Jericho, where obviously Inner Circle and Best Friends are banned from ringside.
And if Chris Jericho beats Orange Cassidy must pay Chris Jericho $7,000 for the suit that Orange Cassidy ruined by the orange juice that he spilled on them.
Yeah, and to basically quote Rick, great match, terrible ending. But your thoughts, James?
The fact that Chris Jericho tried to get Mike Chioda on his side kind of makes me giggle because of the fact that the history of Chris Jericho and Chioda in WWE. So yeah, we also mentioned that Chioda was the referee for that match, and
Yeah.
I agree with it. It was a good match. The ending was terrible. That roll up was terrible. I understand
Yeah.
Orange. I understand they want to give Orange Cassidy that upset, and they want to push him. But that Orange Cassidy needs to work on that roll up. Come on, I understand. I understand that's not really his style,
Oh
quote
wait,
unquote.
Orange won the match? I didn't know
Yeah,
he won. Oh,
Orange
oh,
Cassidy won the match.
oh.
He won. He won by a weird roll up that he rolled up Jericho.
Okay, cool. So he doesn't have to pay the $7,000.
Nope.
Yeah, but obviously the match, like I said, great match. But like I said, terrible ending. That's direct quote from Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, if you're watching this, hello. Anyway, we finally come to SmackDown, and obviously the night kind of began and not quite ended, but it was later on in the night. But the night began with Big E versus Morrison, but that was called off due to Retribution coming out, and obviously the female and female member of the faction came out, and I found out it was someone named Jesse Camilla who had her hair dyed and stuff, and there was a lot of people and stuff, and someone spearing Big E in a way or something like that. I don't know who it was, but I noticed it was wasn't someone, but it was a spear similar to like how kind of like Bobby Lashley's or Moose's spear in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they just ran roughshod over Big E and Morrison, and then they did it later on with people backstage, except for someone, and I caught that someone, except for someone in the restroom. They're like, okay, we're not going to bother you. We'll close this and we'll put a door behind it. I thought, like, okay, at least they got some common courtesy. But obviously, this happened once again during a Big E match, the Big E Morrison match. And they just had everyone was surrounded, lights were flickering and stuff like that. They had a lot of the superstars at ringside. Ones I saw might have been, I think Naomi was at ringside. And then I think later on after the match, Sheamus, who had earlier in the night fought Shorty G in one, Bro kicked Big E and all that stuff. So, yeah. James, your thoughts?
Well, I kind of question Retribution's thing is that they do silly stuff on Raw, but yet they attacking people on SmackDown. And I think honestly, with the Jamie, I'm sorry, I forgot what was the female name again? I'm sorry.
Her name, the one that entered the ring, her name is Jessie Camilla.
I know about Jessie Camilla, but I thought Jessie Camilla was the one who got attacked 2 weeks ago.
I think
By
she might have
Retribution.
dyed her hair. Like there was a picture, like she posted something about her hair, like having some pink or magenta highlights.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's like I think she got beat up originally, but I guess she became a member. But it's just like the whole thing with Big E. Big E is beating up, is getting that push that he deserves.
Yeah, obviously, and he made Morrison tap to that,
That muscular,
that
right?
or the I heard it was called the Brock Lock.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar used that at one point in time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously the Brock Lock or something like that, and he used it on Morrison to make him tap out and stuff like that. But yeah.
I think I don't remember Sheamus, but but again, I wasn't watching SmackDown that much.
Yeah, I was watching it all the way through and seeing all the stuff that was going on. Next up, we had what Styles is calling the segment of the Piss Board. That's the short verb. I can't remember what it was fully called. I know it has something to do with the phenomenal something statistic system or something, or just the piss board and all that. And he was at the top and nobody else was on there. And obviously all of this also had the debuting Joseph Park, aka Abyss, making his WWE TV debut in this case. It ain't in ring yet, it's TV debut. But and obviously that had Jeff Hardy come out, and obviously, AJ went real talk and all that stuff. He says you respect him. He's known him for a long time, and he even said you deserve to be on that board and stuff. But then reverted back to the heel and all that stuff. And Jeff Hardy just beat the living crap out of him, and then signed his name on the board. And all of this apparently is leading to them having a match next week for the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown instead of it being at SummerSlam. Well, I still say it could be at SummerSlam because this match might end up being a DQ or something like that.
Okay, it's called the Phenomenal Intercontinental Statistics System.
Yes, the Piss Board, basically. And everybody was chanting piss, 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 piss. And I was just saying, Joseph Park. Joseph, because he was debuting. I'm like, hell yeah, freaking Joseph Park.
Somewhere, Dixie Carter was smiling on that segment.
Yeah, obviously your thoughts on the Piss Board. Joseph Park debuting in the confrontation between AJ and Jeff.
Well, and for those who don't know, Joseph Park Abyss,
Yeah,
he
obviously he was known
he's
as Abyss in TNA.
he's been he's now an agent in WWE. He's been with WWE for like a few years now.
Yeah,
So, and like I'm kind of really was surprised they actually got Joseph Park to come out to do the stuff with AJ Styles. But again,
yeah. This
but
has been a long time coming to see him in a WWE TV show and in the ring in some way, shape, or form. In this
well,
case,
he wasn't going to be. He's not going to be the Abyss unless WWE get the clear from Impact Wrestling. But the whole
yeah,
yeah, but AJ Styles and Joseph Park working together. Again, they've worked together in the past, so it's nothing new. Especially, and
yeah,
also you add
obviously.
Jeff Hardy, who's also been in TNA. So,
So he's had
kind
history
of.
with both of them. All three have had history together in TNA, and it's really cool. It's like, holy crap, this is what TNA was back in the early 2010s. Like, holy shit,
Now here's
that's
the
memories right
question.
there.
Here's the question: is Joseph Park just going to be a one-time thing for just for that night, or is he going to go throughout because of the whole? It all depends.
Um,
It all depends for next week because next week is the Intercontinental Championship match on SmackDown.
I hope this isn't it for him when it comes to being on TV. I would love to see him more often and stuff like that because he's great. He's great. He's a great talent and stuff. I mean, obviously he's an agent and all that stuff, but I think he's a great talent for WWE, and it'd be a shame to not use him that often. Maybe have a few 1 or 2 matches a year or something like that would be really cool. I mean,
But
obviously
again, I think
we can't have the match between him and Taker, but maybe him versus the Fiend. Maybe that would be interesting.
again, I think it's more on if WWE is going to let Joseph Park wrestle. I don't know if that's going to happen because I just think they're going to just use him with the agent and if like some weird role when involved with
Yeah,
the agent.
basically on screen talent, not be a wrestling talent in this case.
Hmm.
So, but then again, Jeff Jarrett's an agent for WWE, and he had a few matches.
Well, there's a difference between Jeff Jarrett and Joseph Park because again, Joseph Park used the Abyss character, but again, it's that I think WWE is not don't want to use Abyss.
But then you think when they had Awesome Kong in WWE, she wasn't that name. She was Karma, so they
No,
could
no, no,
just change the name.
no, I understand that, but it's just will. But again, I think in the sense is that WWE is gonna be ineligible, but will they actually use Abyss? I don't think so.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
don't think so.
I think
They
it's
got enough
gonna.
monsters as it is, basically.
Like, well, speaking of monsters, let's go to the
Yeah,
next
obviously.
topic.
Obviously. The next topic, and this kind of closed out the show. We had Braun Strowman debuting a look that could only be described as kind of a shorter version of the Big Show, where he was bald head and he had the big beard and stuff, and he was
In
still
in the
Universal
word
Champion.
in the words of The Rock when he was mocking the Big Show, somebody got a haircut.
Yeah, pretty much in this case. But yeah, basically looking like the Big Show, but had shrunk down significantly in weight and in height, obviously. But then obviously he cut a very, very vicious promo and all that stuff, and that brought out Alexa Bliss, and he didn't care and all that stuff. And then obviously, she turned around to look at her, and she just slapped him and stuff, and he picked him up to look like what was going to be like a gorilla press slam. And as that was happening, lights were going down and stuff like that. And then once he just threw her up in the air and she landed on the ring, lights went out, and then it was all red, and the Fiend was in there, but no Braun in sight. And he was just laughing, and then the Fiend started laughing, and then Braun just yelled out that that roar he always does,
Mhm.
and to basically close out the show, that's what they were just doing, making noises in this case, laughing and screaming noises. Um, James, your thoughts
Hey,
on this?
hey, we did forget to mention something. It's TV 14, not TV PG.
Yeah, we're at 14 now.
We're
Anyway,
back in the
continue.
Attitude Era that everybody loves to say, hey, let's go back to the Attitude Era, and then everybody shits on it.
Yeah,
Just because you can't make people happy. But anyway, um, I kind of figured they was gonna do something. I didn't expect, uh, I didn't expect what happened with Bliss, Braun, and the Fiend. The ending part where, like Strowman had Bliss up all the way high, and then basically like the whole thing with the lights out, and then
yeah.
all
To
that.
me, this seemed to be like the Braun that really got over with the people when he was beating up Roman Reigns. He was being that very vicious, big deal, kind of heel, but he was really over with the crowd at that point. He
Hmm.
was beating up Roman Reigns, and everybody was sick and tired of Roman being shoved down our throats. And they just made him, they pushed him kind of organically into the thought he was going to be a heel or stuff, but they then turned him baby face like later on down the story and stuff, his career once he was, and he'd only been that, the monster among men and all that stuff for what, a year at that point?
Yeah.
And he was getting really over, like big time. And this is kind of the same Braun, different look, of course. Obviously, he looks more like Big Show, the bald head, and the big beard and stuff. But this is the Braun. If he had Braun look like Big Show, but give him the run he had when he was beating up Roman Reigns and stuff like that, he got really, really over and stuff. And it was like seeing that Braun come back, and I'm kind of happy that Braun is back. Back in some way, like this is the Braun we wanted, essentially. But you want this Braun to retain at the expense of what is essentially one of the biggest things going, one of the best things going in WWE outside of NXT, and that is
But
kind of the Fiend,
but
basically.
t- but here's the thing though. I apologize for cutting in, but here's the thing though. When it comes to the Fiend, all right,
Ooh.
Fiend losing wouldn't really hurt him because like it's not gonna hurt him as much as him losing to Goldberg did because basically it makes sense in a story wise situation because you have
Yeah, he
because
has
you
that
have
history that he has had that history with Braun, like unlike Goldberg,
mhm.
where he's never had that history.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like the Fiend fed into his fears and the whole thing with Alexa Bliss. And basically now Braun is just turning into the son of a bitch that he always wanted to be.
Yeah,
Um,
basically this is the TV 14 version of Braun Strowman from 2017 when he was beating up Roman Reigns. And that the
and
Braun that got him over, but he's a lot more edgier and much more. Obviously, you said
and
TV
the,
14. He's a lot more edgier and more. He can get away with some stuff,
and the fact that
basically.
he knows the Fiend fed into his fears until like his love interest with Alexa Bliss kind of is like okay we doing this because of that interest, and I felt that it's better for Bliss to do this instead of having her with Nikki Cross because it's helping her. It's to me it's like if they do it right, it's gonna become the next Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and AJ Lee type storyline if done right.
Except for the fact you got two gigantic monsters instead of two very athletic wrestlers that
Hmm.
are at one point obviously struggling with that kind of a gimmick was kind of over in 2017, and then you got the Fiend who's been kind of been over with the crowd since 2019. You're getting these two, and it's like, yeah, you really want to have the expense of the 2017 monster Braun Strowman being something that's been white I wouldn't say white hot, but he's had momentum and stuff, and people have been behind him and stuff like that.
But the problem become with the Fiend is that he lost that momentum with the controversy with Seth Rollins,
Yeah,
the the
obviously
the
that.
the hotel in the cell, and then all that other stuff that happened after, and then winning
Yeah,
it in Saudi
people got
Saudi Arabia.
it was basically like, you know how Goldberg was dominating that chamber, and then they have him lose to Triple H, and people got freaking upset. I'm like, fine, we'll put the belt on Goldberg. You happy? Like,
And
yeah.
that's
But in this
and
case, they kind of were happy, but it's like,
but he also lost that momentum. He also lost that momentum in at
his match with
with
Goldberg.
Goldberg. Yeah, exactly. It's that, yeah. Cena helped it a bit. Kind of a
Yeah,
crazy.
Cena helped Guy get that thing back on track, basically,
hmm hmm
and he's
because
really kind
because
of
it's
back where he was.
because it's something
Kind of.
that a lot of people like with the Fiend is that he was going after stuff that we as fans hate. The fact that Cena, the whole thing with Cena.
Yeah, and he's going after people he's had history with outside of Goldberg. Obviously, he's had history with Finn Balor. He's had history with Kane, who he attacked. I don't know about Mick Foley, but everybody compares him to Mick Foley for some reason. But he's always
No,
been compared to.
well, that's why he started the Man of Claws, because of the Mick Foley.
Yeah, obviously. I don't know about Seth. I know he's had history with at least 2 members of the Shield, but I don't know if he's ever had history with Seth outside of maybe one instance. And Seth was kind of the chicken shit heel when he was with the
No,
Authority
it,
and
no,
stuff.
it's him. I think it's that whole thing with the Shield. It wasn't just
Yeah, it was kind of at that Shield because basically, in a nutshell, you couldn't go after Ambrose because Ambrose left. So like, okay, let's replace Ambrose with Seth Rollins. There you go.
But
And
the
what was
thing
next?
was is that, but here's the problem with Seth Rollins is that, and we're going off track than what we were supposed to. But that's how it is with
Yeah. Point
podcast.
is, everyone he has fought outside of Seth Rollins,
hmm
Daniel Bryan, The Miz, Cena, Strowman, he's all had history with. There's only a handful of other people left that he's had history
hmm
with
But
obviously.
the thing with Seth Rollins was just a champion. That's why he was going after him. It wasn't because he had history. It was just because he was the champion.
Yeah, obviously. And everybody was affected by the Fiend in some way. Obviously, Finn would go back to NXT and he would be the Prince and stuff. Seth Rollins would then change up his gimmick and become the Monday Night Messiah. Daniel Bryan cut his hair. We haven't. The only one we haven't, John Cena. We haven't seen him in a while since his loss to the Fiend. Braun Strowman, look at him. He's now just 2017 Braun Strowman, but looking like a miniature Big Show.
Even the Miz mentions the fact of the Fiend here and there.
Yeah, he was kind of affected to the point where his friend John Morrison came back and was concerned for him, basically. But yeah, we were rambling on about the Fiend, but yeah, all I know is this is all going to lead to the Fiend regaining the Universal Championship and all that stuff, and that we might.
I don't.
But
I was gonna say I don't know now unless Alexa Bliss interferes. But we get to that in the prediction.
yeah, obviously. Got any factions, or do you want me to go over what I wanted to say?
No factions.
Okay, I obviously had originally thought about this, and he's just now finding out about it now. But obviously, this was something part of my booking challenge. But I wanted it. It ain't Brock. It ain't Brock. It is someone completely different. Someone that's kind of like Brock, but not really. And it is my booking challenge to book the kind of the first run or the entire run of the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I originally thought of trying to see how I could book him, and I'm still trying to think of some stuff that would make sense. So obviously,
I would let's say this. Can we do it from a certain range? Because I don't want to make it
2017 to 2018.
okay. 1 year.
The
Okay.
first year.
Okay. All right.
Um,
First
first
year
year
on
of
the
him
main
being
roster. That's
yeah,
first year on the main roster, right?
yeah, obviously, and we're not gonna go by what he did, pre WrestleMania. So we save him for the night after, where obviously I kind of like in real life. He does have a kind of a program with Seth Rollins and basically utilize. He doesn't have any matches or anything on Raw or SmackDown. He's exclusive for pay-per-views. He's big deal matches, and he's got to be around. He's getting up there in range. So, and obviously you've seen later on he would have the injuries and all of that stuff. So limiting how many times he can wrestle might be a better fit for him. So we start obviously the night after WrestleMania, and
No. He debuted the night after Royal Rumble.
okay, yeah, fine. He debuts after Royal Rumble.
No. So basically, if you wanted to change it to where he stays in NXT until WrestleMania, you can do that.
Yeah, we can
But
obviously keep him in NXT and all that stuff, but have him debut the night after WrestleMania and he attacks Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins is weekend. And what would have been the pay-per-view after WrestleMania 33? Backlash, I believe.
Let me double check on that. Would be Payback.
Payback. Okay, yeah. Payback in this case. So he faces Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match, and he wins. And all that stuff. And then obviously he goes, because obviously this is in 2017. So this would make sense. And he came over from SmackDown. So he then goes after Dean Ambrose. And, does the same like he does. It's to the point where, and what would have been the next one for the Raw pay-per-views? Would this been Extreme Rules or something like that?
Double check. It was
because the brand split was still going on. I'm
trying Extreme Rules. Yep, correct.
Yeah, and remember there was a fatal 5-way, and Joe ended up winning and go on to face Brock Lesnar. We have it be somewhat different. We still have I believe Seth Rollins was in the match. I believe Finn Balor was in the match. We just changed the opponent for Brock to be Finn Balor. Because I don't want Joe to go after Brock Lesnar. He would just get squashed and stuff.
It was an Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, I'm keeping Joe away from that. So basically, he faces Dean Ambrose and destroys him. And this leads to the point of where obviously, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, they need to work together or something like that to go and beat.
Well, here's the thing though. Going back to the Extreme Rules of 2017. Would you take out the Miz? If you had
anyone else that was in that match besides Joe, stays the same.
Okay.
Whoever
No. Okay. But let's say this: if he's going after Ambrose, that means he's going after the Intercontinental Championship because Dean Ambrose has the Intercontinental Champion at that time. He was
no championships.
So he was feuding with the Miz. So basically, would you align Joe with Miz?
I had thought about it, and I realized, you know what? Yeah, maybe. Or maybe not. But I'm realizing that I am trying to work around all of this to the point of where I didn't realize he would ally himself with Miz at that point. But, yeah, in some cases, yeah. Basically, I don't know if let's say he doesn't have a match at Extreme Rules. He does I'm sure he cost Dean Ambrose the shot at the Intercontinental Championship. And then they have a match at what would have been Great Balls of Fire instead of going to face Lesnar and winning.
Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, I don't know who else was in the match. I know Seth Rollins was in the match. Finn Balor was in the match. I don't know who else was in the match outside of Joe. Was Roman Reigns in
Uh,
the match?
Roman Reigns was in a match with Braun Strowman. He was in an ambulance match.
Okay, who was in the match that would go on to face Brock Lesnar? I know there was Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. I'm trying to remember who else was in the match.
For the Extreme Rules pay per view, the Fatal Five Way was Joe, Bray Wyatt, Finn Balor, Roman, and Seth.
Roman was in it?
Yes, Roman was in it.
Okay, so yeah, you basically have everyone else except for Joe be in the match. And you give the win to Finn Balor. Because just give him his freaking rematch. He never lost it out, just give him the match. So that it would be Finn versus Brock at Great Balls of Fire. It would be a pretty good match. I would say something similar like he's had with Finn in the past. I don't know how long their match was at Royal Rumble, but it'd be something of that length where it would be, sluggish back and forth, Finn having some offense with Brock winning, of course, because Brock wins low and stuff. And basically have Finn replace Samoa Joe in the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. So it would be Brock defending against Roman, Finn, and Strowman in that case. But anyway, obviously, Great Balls of Fire. Samoa Joe defeats Dean Ambrose, destroys him. And then this leads to them realizing that Dean needs some help and all that stuff, and Seth offers help and stuff. Which, Dean at first denies because the history between the two, and realizes, at some point Seth does come and help him out and stuff like that. Fist and all that stuff, and realize they need to work together to beat Samoa Joe. So it's instead of them going after, the tag team titles, we'll get to them winning it later on. They go and face Samoa Joe in a handicap match. And Joe is pretty much, majority of the match, Joe is destroying both of them. But it takes teamwork between the two, Dean Ambrose hits dirties. I don't know did Seth bring the stomp back then? Or was
Seth Rollins did not bring the stomp.
Oh yeah, he had the knee thing, and then Seth would hit the knee thing, and then that would Dean Ambrose hit him with the dirty D's for the 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Obviously, you have Joe lose, obviously because of numbers game, in this case.
Okay, so that's SummerSlam, you say?
Yeah.
So instead of giving Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose the Raw Tag Team titles, you want?
I'll put the titles later on them. Maybe at what would have been the next pay-per-view after that.
No Mercy.
Yeah, No Mercy. I put the titles on them for that, practically. Okay. Put it on them for No Mercy, practically, and that way they're glued and they win the tag titles from the bar and stuff. I'm trying to think of for Joe at this point. So maybe have him possibly go after. Oh, who would it have been? Oh yeah, Joe. How about maybe? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No Mercy was also when Roman Reigns fought John Cena. So I still have Roman winning, but after the match, Samoa Joe attacks Roman Reigns, and we kind of get a program between the two, and I'm trying to think of what else, and then I don't know what the next pay-per-view would be.
The next pay-per-view was for Raw was TLC.
And this was, and basically in a nutshell, this would be where we would have kind of the Shield reunited, but it would be against the Bar and Joe. We would have the Shield reuniting, and I don't know about injuries and stuff like that, but we keep it just those three. We keep it between.
Now remember, Roman Reigns was supposed to be at TLC.
Obviously.
But he pulled out because of medical reasons. Same thing with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, and that led to I guess you could kind of go with Kurt Angle joining them and having, Kurt Angle be in the Shield, and you can still have the Shield reunion. It's just different people. It's Joe and the Bar
Okay.
have Roman come out, and then he could come back, for Survivor Series and all that stuff, and they face the
Mm-hmm.
New Day and all that stuff. So yeah, keeping the booking they had. Yes, I would still have the Shield winning, but Joe doesn't get pinned. We do not have Joe get pinned. We'd have one of the bar members get pinned or something like that.
Okay.
But then obviously we can't. We wouldn't resume. I guess we can take Joe off TV, Joe off of TV or something like that, and then he could come back and have a program with Roman Reigns. Cost him the Intercontinental Championship, and this could potentially lead to those two having a match. I don't know how long. I think Joe would eventually. I'd say let them have a match at Roman Reigns. If I'm thinking this right, we'd have take Joe off TV and stuff like that, and he wants to go after Roman Reigns and stuff like that, and then obviously everything that happened in real life still happens in real life.
Just let you know, between Survivor Series and Rumble, Joe got injured.
Oh, yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, you take him off of TV from TLC. So he doesn't show up anymore. But he's still pretty healthy. He's still pretty damn healthy. He doesn't get injured. So taking him off before TLC, where he is healthy in this case, it should be fine for him to come back. He's healthy and stuff like that. He's not injured and stuff. So, and then he goes into, obviously, when he comes back, he would have a program with Roman Reigns. And, he would cost Roman Reigns a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Well, yeah, he would. But he didn't really, I think he would come back and he would try and challenge and stuff. Like, Roman Reigns still wins the Intercontinental Championship and stuff. But, Joe comes back, he wants to, beat the living crap out of Roman and stuff. And then they just have a fist fight in what would have been the next pay-per-view in between Rumble and Survivor Series. What was the next Raw pay-per-view?
Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that's after Rumble?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
That was so basically Rumble and Chamber. Roman Reigns was in the Chamber match.
Then we can push the match. We can have Roman have a little bit lengthier reign as Intercontinental Champion, so that those two have a match at Rumble for the Intercontinental Championship, and that would probably mean Miz doesn't win it back at Raw 25, so he'd have to wait a little bit longer to win it back. So at some point between Rumble and Elimination Chamber, Roman is going to lose the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe because of Joe.
I would still do the Raw 25 thing, but I would have Joe interfering in that Raw 25.
Yeah,
match.
Okay, so then why not? And then basically they have a match.
And they have
a regular match at Rumble where Joe basically he dominates and beats him. And instead of it being at the Chamber, instead of it being Strowman and Roman, it is Joe and Roman as the final two. Joe, so basically, he somehow, we'll still have Strowman being in it, but we have Joe have the final three kind of be Strowman, Joe, and Roman. And Strowman taps out to Joe via the Coquina clutch, and it's down to Joe and Roman. And then obviously Roman, after multiple Superman punches and multiple spears, pins Joe and gets a shot at Brock Lesnar. And then obviously for Joe at Mania, I really can't think of who we could taste.
So just let you know, before the injury happened, going back to your thing with Roman, he was in the feud with Roman for the Intercontinental Championship before he got injured.
Yeah.
He got injured before Raw 25. So.
Yeah, but obviously having Joe, going off TV for a while after TLC, because Roman was already out, he wouldn't come back to Rumble, and then obviously beat Roman Reigns and beat him, and at least to the point where they would have a match at the
let's
Royal
say
Rumble.
let's say this. What I would do differently is that he stays all the way to Survivor Series because he's on Team Raw. In between Survivor Series and Raw 25, just basically you can have Joe be out. And then you do your feud for so basically Joe can come back.
But obviously Joe doesn't wrestle on Raw or SmackDown in this case. So he's not wrestling as much. So basically a Brock Lesnar type deal where you'll only wrestle the pay-per-views in this case. So it kind of limits his amount in the ring at this point because he's up there in age and he's going to be prone to injuries. So limiting his stuff and limiting him to wrestle only on pay-per-views makes a lot of sense in this case.
Okay. So
I'm trying to think of what he could have at Royal Rumble because I really can't think. So maybe if I can't think of anything, maybe
I would say I would say that'd be a match. Let's say this: have Joe go after Roman at both. No, at the Rumble.
Yeah, obviously have him.
There was no pay-per-view between Survivor Series and Rumble for Raw. They only had it for SmackDown.
Yeah, obviously Rumble would be them. It would be a regular non-title match. Joe wins it, but then obviously the two.
No. Joe wins the match at Rumble. I would do it. Joe wins the match because there will be no title because we having Joe.
Yeah, no title. That's what I said. I just said it's a one-on-one non-title match. Joe wins it. And then obviously he and Roman are the final two in the Elimination Chamber match. And Roman, after multiple Superman punches and multiple spears, gets the 1, 2, 3 in the chamber to go and face Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
so we still. And then I don't know what I would do with Joe after that. Maybe put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or if they got something for him, I really don't know. I mean, maybe him and Strowman, maybe.
Instead of having Strowman do the damn thing with Nicholas.
Basically have him have a match, a heated match between him and Joe that kind of leads them to have a match at WrestleMania instead of having Braun winning the tag titles, and which is really stupid at this point. But yeah, basically having Braun Strowman and Joe having a program at WrestleMania, Joe's first WrestleMania match, and we can kind of have, if you're still wanting to book Strowman as a monster, you can have him win it, but it'd still be a really sluggish affair, muscle. I don't know if Joe can even do a muscle buster on freaking Strowman, a 300 plus pound, 6'8" monster. But I just think that it should be to the point where Joe puts on an effort but loses. And then and then basically, I don't know what they would do after that. Basically, limit his in-ring work for that first year and stuff like that. But there's mine. What do you have when it comes to Joe? Or do you agree with mine?
At some point in cases, points in cases for Jill, I could see him dealing with each member of the Shield separately.
Yeah, obviously that's what I did.
I would continue. Yeah, I would continue. I would do. I'd keep what you say. But don't have him touch Roman until TLC.
Rumble.
No,
TLC. TLC. That's when the whole, I guess. Well, Roman didn't really. Roman was pulled out at that point. All the way to Rumble, where then they would have a match.
No. Let's say if the whole thing never happened with Bray Wyatt and Roman, then that would have been epic. Joe and the Bar versus the Shield.
Oh yeah.
No, non-title, but yeah. So instead of what they had with freaking Miz, Braun, and all this stuff, and the Bar.
Not to mention, Kane wasn't put in there because why not? Throw Grandpa Kane in there.
Yeah, I forgot. You have to add Grandpa Kane too.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't add freaking Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas and me too. Shit.
yeah,
Throw everybody in against the Shield. No, but I think 3-on-3 would have been fine if they had
yeah. Obviously,
if
if
they
you
if
have six guys, you can slug it out. Joe and the
yeah
Bar, and then the Shield.
if
it
you
is
really
a
had
absolute slugfest.
yeah
Absolutely.
I think it's more it was worst case scenario. That's why they had to have Kurt Angle to replace Roman. So even if Roman got kicked out, let's say because of the same reason, Angle
Yeah.
has issue with Joe. So in TNA. So hey,
Yeah,
why
yeah,
not?
yeah, yeah. Why not?
Um, I yeah, I would not have him touch Roman into to Raw. I like your idea, so I like it most of it. I just don't know with WrestleMania 34, it's more an iffy type of situation just because you don't want to take away. Okay, let's be honest. Woken Matt Hardy was popular at that time, so you don't want to take away Woken Matt Hardy's
Yeah,
uh
yeah. Basically,
battle royal win.
I thought of that, but then I realized, oh, this would have been an even interesting match. Him versus Strowman, which would kind of be a placeholder, and then kind of maybe go
Yeah, instead
after,
of so
probably go
basically
after Seth Rollins in the
So
Intercontinental
basically,
Championship.
you could have the Bar fight somebody else, a different team. But the question is, would have been at the time who would have been the team to go would go after them?
At SummerSlam.
No, at WrestleMania. No, at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I'm also trying to
Because
think who would go after them at SummerSlam at that point too,
no,
because that's when Rollins and Ambrose won the tag titles from them.
yeah,
Trying to
I
think of
think,
that as
I
well.
think, I think you could have done something like Lucha House. You could have just had like a Lucha House Party lose, and then
Yeah,
have
but then you'd have someone who was getting a team that was getting pretty over at that point or something, maybe. Who would have been a team that got over on Raw at that point, outside of, Seth and Dean, who were kind of over on Raw?
again. I just don't know. I don't remember at the time. I would have to think about that, but but it's gonna be
Only team that I could think that could come to mind would have been maybe
American Alpha
Curtis.
maybe.
Were they on Raw? Oh, I know. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe if freaking Jason Jordan didn't get injured, yeah, maybe have both members of American Alpha go after them. Like that would
Well,
have
no,
been.
I think it was Chad. I think because they separate. No, they separate Chad Gable and Jason Jordan.
Yeah, obviously with the whole Raw thing.
So,
Um,
but I would have maybe have kept Alpha American Alpha for a bit, and
yeah,
then
obviously having them go, or maybe. What about an NXT team? Who would have been over at that point? Who would have been a good team on NXT to maybe bring up? Oh, didn't AOP come be called up by them?
AOP was being stupid. Uh,
Were they called up by then, or were they called up the night after 34?
they got caught up after 34.
Maybe call them up before then and then have them face the Bar.
No, but AOP had the tag titles at that time.
Oh, well, yeah, that could work. Have them lose the titles and then maybe have the
No,
Bar have
you
an
know
open
what? You know
challenge at
what? No, no, no,
WrestleMania.
no. You don't know what? You know what? No. Let's say the bar doesn't have a match at SummerSlam, or try to get involved in the handicap match.
Yeah, but yeah, at some point, yeah. But then, yeah. But then, obviously, WrestleMania, you could think of who could have been a good team that could have gotten over at that point.
AOP would have been the surprising one. Let's say that.
Yeah, obviously, let's say it would have been an open challenge at WrestleMania. The Bar challenge any team. AOP's music come on, they destroy the Bar, win the tag team titles.
Hmm.
And if you want to still do the whole them ditching Paul Ellering and stuff like that, they can. I mean, it's just up to that. But obviously, have them be a surprise team at Royal Rumble, accept the challenge of the Bar. They destroy the Bar, win the Raw tag team titles. There you go. That settles that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was kind of experimental. Um, any final words before we close the show?
Bullshit.
Well then, on that bombshell, we will see y'all whenever we do these shows. Obviously, we won't be doing a live show next week due to the fact that NXT TakeOver 30 will be happening on Saturday, but we will be doing a picks and predictions video next Friday for NXT TakeOver 30 and SummerSlam. So obviously no show next week, but there will be a show after that. And our guests are kind of our picks and predictions as well for Payback, whatever matches they have on there, because God knows
The
that
only oh, the thing we didn't mention was with Asuka is that Asuka is fighting
we
for
will
2 days.
we'll save that for picks and predictions.
Well, here's the thing though. Payback, the Sasha and Bailey has to defend their women's tag team titles.
Well, yeah, that's true. We will mention that in our picks and predictions video. But on that, we will see y'all next week. Until then, we will see y'all later.